Today I am going to explain you the second poem, An Elementary Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. In fact, the poem has four stanzas. In the very first stanza, the great poet describes about the classroom where certain students are sitting. In fact, these students are deprived of gusty waves. They look like rootless beads, means unwanted element. There is none to take care of these students. These students look very much diseased. They have several ailments. The great poet described the very first girl who is sitting there overweight, weighed her head down. It looks that she is very much exhausted and very much burdened. There is another boy sitting in this room. The great poet says that the boy's eyes are like rats that shows insecurity for future, looking for something, searching for food or here, all these things it symbolizes. Another boy is here who has got a disease, perhaps inherited disease he has from his father with granddad disease, bones. The poet here tells that the students who are sitting belong to a very pathetic condition. They are deprived of many elementary things. The only boy who is sitting at the last of the benches, he is somewhat different. He is doing certain unusual things. He is busy in the game of squirrel. In fact, he wants to go into this world, wants to see this world. He is not like these children who are burdened, who are diseased. In many ways, he is different from these unnoted child. In the second stanza, the great poet describes the classroom. Actually, the classroom walls are sour cream, means have not been painted for a long time, so its color has converted into yellow one. It also shows the pathetic atmosphere and surroundings of the class. On these walls, there are certain donations in the form of Shakespeare's head, certain good and beautiful pictures of domes, cities, minarets, valleys, flower valleys. There are certain maps also on these walls. The great poet says that these maps have to do nothing with these children because these maps represent a civilized society, a society which these children have never seen, which they have never experienced such a things. These things, in fact, tempt them to steal things. The great poet says this is the reason not these maps but these windows are their true maps. Because whenever they see the word map, they fail to get their own residential location. They fail to see their own slum area where they reside. But when they see these word maps, they don't find themselves. In case you want to go through their world, you will have to see through these windows. So these windows, not these maps, are their real world. Because in the maps there is no their own location where they reside, and when they see in their own world, they don't see beautiful items, beautiful things as mentioned and shown in the maps. So here the Shakespeare is a wicked example. The great poet says that Shakespeare has to do nothing with these children. He can never be a source of inspiration for these children. And as far as these beautiful things are concerned, they have to do nothing with these children because they have not seen it. They live in their own world which is full of unhealthy environment. In the third stanza, the great poet says that these children live in a very pathetic condition. In these small huts, in a small area, full of filthy atmosphere, everywhere unhealthy atmosphere, these students live with their parents. They have no healthy atmosphere there. They have no proper living there, and they are in fact very much diseased, and it looks me that they are also under burden of poverty. These children can be seen playing in the heap of the garbage with their peeled skin. They are unnourished, Their future is painted with fog. They struggle from morning to night. The great poet has mentioned from day to endless night. So their struggle never comes to an end. Since their birth, they keep on fighting till their death. So these children, wherever they live in a very pathetic condition. They have no proper future. In fact, their future is painted with fog, uncertain and absolutely doubtful. In the fourth stanza, the great poet describes and appeals to the people, especially governors, visitors, inspector. Whosoever visit this place, he says that such type of education which is being imparted to these students have no result. It is fruitless. He wants that these children should be freed, they should be liberated, they should be allowed to go outside in the lap of nature. They should get such education which is beneficial for them. He wants to remove the discrimination that we have developed for these children. He wants that children should be allowed to go in the lap of nature where they should experience the greenery, they should run on the azure sands, they should also be given books in their own language. He says that history of those people whose language is warm. Here it means until unless they are given an education needed for them, there is no use of such education. Thank you.